services maker is rendering. This is how much you should pay them. And that's all. We've been doing this. Me, I've joined 24 years now, so if I just imagine, all these years we've not been charged, we've not been demanding for the money. From just 2019 till now, that they themselves said they will pay us. Look of you.
Look of you about it will be good.
But I think as Ghanaians, we need to stop certain things and then speak the interest of the country at heart, because we are all Ghanaians.
I hear you, Felicity.
And if it is better for us, it's better for our future generations.
But you can't blow a trumpet on an empty stomach, can you? Anyway, what are we to expect by way of weather this morning?
Yeah, it's just good news in the weather for today. The Hamatan conditions has relaxed over the north too, and we expect it just to be slightly dry and then fairly hazy. Visibility too has improved drastically. Last night till this dawn, I think there was some cloudy situations over the Savannah area where I think some portions of Tamale should record rain, which will give them a little relief for today. For the southern sector, we are having partly cloudy. Some areas are experiencing misty conditions, but visibilities are also on the good side. Also area having foggy conditions with very poor visibilities, but by midday, we expect it to improve. For temperatures for today, will be on the higher side, a bit 34 for Greater Accra, 35 for Kumasi, Koforidua, Achibda, 37 for Sunyani, Tatekrachi, Jazika, and Damango. If you are coming to those of us going to the north, we expect temperatures to be around 69 degrees Celsius. The rain is in the forecast, and our probabilities keep increasing. We are having between 40 and 60 for today over the southern sector. So we should get ready to be in the afternoon. This morning, just a few light rains that will come, but nothing much to disturb our activities, especially those over the western coast. For the sea, it's rough today too, so fisher folks should take precautions if they want to go for fishing. For the water lake, this morning it's a bit cloudy. We expect the sun to break through. Then late afternoon into the evening hours, we are having 60% chance of thunderstorm cloud formations over the Volta Lake. So if they realize that the clouds are gathering and becoming darker, and they start seeing flashes of lightning, then they should just advise themselves to go back. But as usual, we will be sending them our weather alerts ahead of time if we know the system will intensify to bring distress or disturbances to them while they do their fishing activities.
I see.
So for today, this is how we expect it to be.
So it will be cool, so we should go about our normal duties. That's the case?
Yes, for today, we should go about our normal distance, but temperatures will be on the higher side, though.
As for the temperature matter, it's always hot sometimes, and you sweat even in the AC when you put it on.
Yes, this is the season that we are entering into. Between now till somewhere around May, we will be battling with the hot season, the sunny weather. Even the mornings may not be comfortable for us again.
I thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Thank you, Felicity Hafianyo. She's with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. They have not been paid. Their money's Dromoson. And thanks to the Malta Guinness and Belacqua and Glovo, Gobe Festival comes your way again on the 4th of March 2023. To participate, call 0243-721-148 or 3FM Gobe Festival. Your Gobe join the B, my own the B off. 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. We bring you all the Gobe joints to one location. Yoke Gary. Hello, Yoke Gali. Amagali. The Finder newspaper this morning says rainstorm and whirlwind destroy HGL rice mill in Adaklu. Kwame Agboja, good morning to you, MP for Adaklu. Payment on old bonds resumes March 13, according to Oforiata. He is a finance minister, all white wearing. Presby Church praises Dr. Baumia for touching school building gift. And the NIA owes creditors $117 million. $65 million has to be paid before it can continue to print cards. This is it. This is who we are. This is our reality. Helen.
Well, this morning, the Daybreak, Freedom in Truth. They have this to say: gold for oil, beneficiary OMCs to sign price/undertaking. This one quite interesting. So you take consignment of this gold for oil, oil that has come in, then you agree as an OMC to reduce your price.
I'm still wondering how we're deciding to sideline all those who don't have up to 45, outlets. And for me, I think it's unfair. It's the same thing we did within the banking sector. And that's why banks collapsed. Because we couldn't separate the issues. We couldn't fish out those who were doing the wrong things to punish them. We put everybody there and block. And if you'd say you're going to give cheaper fuel, like what we did back then when we say free water, free electricity, and which we eventually had to pay for.
That's right.
People who were not connected to the national grid did not enjoy free water and free electricity, but today they are paying for it.
Yeah.
So if you tell me that you're using gold that belongs to Ghana to go into an oil contract, and I choose to buy from a filling station that does not have 45 outlets, or I run a filling station that does not have 45 outlets, you have taken me out of the equation. And like William will say, you're not putting me at the center of this development that you are championing. So free food or cheap food, and only then.
It doesn't benefit all of us.
It doesn't benefit all of us. So must we all buy from Goyle to Tal, Shell? That's it. If Zen doesn't have 45 outlets, they're out. If Benab doesn't have, they're out. If Glory Oil doesn't have, they're out. If Allied doesn't have, they're out. What kind of policy is that? What kind of upside down republic is that?
I wonder if we'll be getting a thorough breakdown as to why this is the case, and if anything will change, and moving forward, these other OMCs can be part of it.
Sorry to say this,
would be good.
The man in charge of the MP is a person living with disability. He's an albino or person living with albinism. He is considered to be part of active society. When he takes a policy, he is excluding people. William doesn't like the sound of that, but I'm saying it. He's a person living with disability. Albinism is considered a person living with albinism. Adelaide.
Is that what he lives with albinism?
Don't you see him? In fact, Otiko Jaba said at the vetting table that even the government is so inclusive that they have added albinos, including Mustafa Hamid, in the government.
That was when he was
slow down. Let me finish my point. And he was a minister, right? How is it then that he is taking a decision and he is excluding people when he has been included?
Will be necessary.
I know people will not like this, but I'll say it.
Road safety training, journalists, GJA priority. We'll get into that as the review goes on.
Don't mind
Mr.
them.
Hughes.
Don't mind them.
State assisted burial for Christian Atu.
Don't mind them when they say they will do road safety training. Because I think we pay a lot of lip service to, and today I came very well. They pay a lot of lip service to some of these things.
Right.
In 2012 or 2013, the National Road Safety Commission said that they were going to have seat belts in Trotro. You remember that?
I do recall.
Where are the seat belts? And they always come back to calculate lives that have been lost as part of the statistics. Oh, this year we lost 1,000. This year we lost 900. So it has improved. 900 people dead. That is the improvement.
Okay, so I'll break in.
You bring us hope.
With the oil, I think
what
is happening is it speaks to the sustainability or otherwise of the policy. It only means that I don't think they have enough oil to go around.
Yeah.
And which means, to me, they may not have enough gold to go around. Because if it's an open system where we're using available cash to bring in the fuel, I don't think this policy is what is used to drive that kind of arrangement.
That's right.
So if it is that we are not getting enough oil or enough fuel to go around, I think the policy should be reconsidered and the more gold should be pumped into the system to give every OMC the opportunity to sell what they describe as cheap fuel.
Yeah. But then the conversation is this: do we have enough gold?
Yeah.
Because there's still a ban on illegal mining, and even some portion of small-scale mining has been restricted.
That's right.
So where is government sourcing the gold from? Do they have enough gold to swap for oil? The dollars that we will swap for the oil as well, because now we've been told it's not just gold for oil. There's cash and gold for oil.
Yeah.
But the government is still calling it gold for oil. So where is the cash? Where is the gold? Do we have enough? And how long can we continue this? The government is not coming forward. The government is still calling it gold for oil. But we know that there's cash and there's gold.
Yeah.
So why can't the government be honest with us? Why?
Well, same thing as we were asking when Vice President launched the policy, and later when we find out
it's novel.
Yeah, it's novel. Said something they don't teach you in the textbooks. He was touting it as something extraordinary. Now we know that it's not really
It's basa.
It's looking a little bit basa, if I'm being honest. But lastly here, Presbyterian Church hails Bawumia school building gift, and there's a picture to go along with it.
The most authoritative.
That's William's church, or Presbyterian Church.
I'm not a Presbyterian. I'm a Methodist.
Yeah,
proud
Methodist.
one. On
So
Sinai Methodist Church.
it's
I'm Methodist as well.
Don Doku who is a Presbyterian.
Mount Sinai Methodist Church. Greetings to everybody out there.
Oh wow, you attend church.
Glory to God. Yes. Ghanaian Times, the most authoritative newspaper. Asante Hene warns chiefs, stop double sale of lands or incur my wrath.
It's happening in the Ashanti region too.
Stop double land sales or incur my wrath.
Because in Accra, it's a normal sale.
That is from
It's not even
Asante
double,
Hene.
so triple, quadruple, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Asante Hene is warning that Tumfo Osei Tutu the second payment for coupons, principals of matured old bonds to begin March 13. That's according to the Finance Ministry.
That's the government defaulting again.
And we have on the front page Ken Uforiata, the minister.
Is this are these the coupons that were to have been paid by the 21st?
That's
which was
right.
Even a
That's
further
right. So the government
extension?
has defaulted, and that's why SMP and the rest continue to downgrade us, because bonds or those instruments are supposed to be the safest. If under a finance man and somebody who is an investment banker as finance minister, we continue to get the bonds being delayed before they are honored, then there's a problem somewhere. And it is not just about agreeing that there's a problem. It is also about apologizing and having the humility to tell the people, I said I will enter into a contract with you. You have fulfilled your part of the deal, and I am unable to fulfill my part of the deal, and so I am sorry. This government has never said sorry to us since the government began. They have never, of all the flip-flopping that they have done, they've never had the dignity and respect for us to say, we're sorry. Have you heard any apology from the government before? Have you heard any apology
I've
at
not
all?
heard an outright sorry.
Government will say, oh, we know there's a problem. That's
right.
it. We already know there's a problem. Why wouldn't the government apologize? That's the right thing to do. Say, we are sorry. We are sorry. The government doesn't say that. So each time the government wants to roll out a certain policy or agenda, it gets a pushback from the people, because you're treating the people as if, oh,
Yeah.
how do you behave like that?
Anyway, talking about the troubles in the country and with the Boko crisis, Austin Gamer is asking neutral mediation process will be the key to ending the crisis in Boko. That's on page 4 of the Times. And on the sports page, we have US dollars, that's $8.5 million US dollars needed to host African Para Games in Accra. That will be for the games designed for the disabled. Let's get to the details.
Persons living with disability.
An amount of $8.5 million US dollars will be needed for a successful hosting of the first African Para Games in Accra this year. The amount, according to the chairperson of the local organizing committee of the Maiden Multisport Para Games Accra 2023, Dr. Chris Bwedi Mensah, would go into the provision of disability-friendly facilities and other logistics to host over 48 countries in Ghana. And still to go on the Ghanaian Times front page, 29 Galamseyers arrested in Kwai Bibrim. Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners Task Force has arrested 29 illegal miners operating in the Kwai Bibrim municipality of the Eastern Region. The illegal miners, popularly known as Galamseyers, who were grabbed in a swoop at 3 separate sites at Achim Pramkesi, Achim Abodom, had destroyed acres of cocoa and palm plantations. Sad one there. Galamsey is still on our necks.
As for sending all the money.
My mother has a palm plantation around that side, and she's constantly under siege. People going in there, destroying the crops, the cocoa as well. It is still an issue that we're dealing with.
I think honestly that the key actors in this fight against Galamsey, or so-called fight against Galamsey, are doing the typical Adankudada Ajay kind of leadership, because we have Operation Galam Stop, Operation Vanguard, Operation whatever.
We've had, is it Halt or
1, 2, 3. So then you ask yourself, when we put immigration, police, military officers together and national security operatives, and we put them up in the bush, what exactly are they achieving? Because in the last week and many weeks before that, we heard, and the reports were that national security operatives with people in military uniform were captured, were arrested, extorting monies from people engaging in Galamsey. Same set of people we put in the bush to go and fight Galamsey. Earlier, we had 11 national security people, and the national security suddenly has been so silent about these people, because if I say I work with William and I'm arrested, parading myself as an employee with William, and William disagrees that I work with him, he would come and say it. But the national security silence has been so loud that these people are arrested. We don't know where they are taking. All of a sudden, matter dies. We're back to it. When you continue doing that, you will not get the support of the people to fight Galamsey. So you can buy all the drones, you can send all the police, military, immigration guys out there, but the rubbish will still happen because you have not shown great indication. And I always say this, the people who engage in illegal mining, they buy these excavators. Excavators are not assembled in Ghana. They are imported through our ports, right? Every clearing agent or freight forwarder has a license. These, excavators, they have chassis numbers like all our cars.
Right.
Why are we not able to trace the chassis number, connect it to the agent who is clearing it, and ask the agent who you are clearing it for, and trace it to the bush and say, Helen is responsible for this, and so we'll deal with it. Rather, we go into the bush, we see the excavators, we take the motherboard or whatever it is, and then we burn it to set it ablaze, and crime ends. Crime does not expire. So how did the excavator get into the bush? And who owns the excavator? When you start dealing with the big boys, rather than jailing the small boys who get 70, 80, 120 by day payment, then you will solve the problem. But the government knows that they won't be able to do it. And they know that the people who get monies from these Galamsey sites are the ones who actually fund their political parties.
So that government is using you and I's taxes to buy new uniforms,
That's
drones,
all. That's all
recently some speedboats on the river. To what end? If a suggestion as simple as what Johnnie says, even being proactive, for example, once these machines are imported, you trace the number and you can follow up in 6 months.
Trace the chassis number.
What are the excavators being used for?
Because if you tell me that you are actually interested in fighting Galamsey, and you are not identifying the chassis number, the vehicle has a chassis number, or the heavy duty equipment has a chassis number. You go and you take a motherboard, you destroy it. They go and buy a new one, come and fix it in it, and start working again. Trace the chassis number, check who owns it, or if he hired it, check where he hired it from, or she hired it from. Go to that individual and ask questions. Once you have police and military, they can arrest and ask questions. That's all.
Simple.
What we're doing now, we're not doing it because Haji Halima Mahama, former minister for local government, she was in a meeting with all MMDCs. She's a lawyer. She's now an ambassador to the USA. She said in that particular video, and I'll play it here. William doesn't like when I play the videos.
Oh, why don't I like
Oh, no, he's he'll go and report me that I'm causing trouble on the show. She said that she knows all the MMDCs who are engaged in Galamsey. She said that in 2018. So if the government wants to prove to us that they are interested in fighting Galamsey, they would have gone on to ask Haji Halima Mahama to give them the records of those individuals engaged in Galamsey. Guess what? Some of those MMDCs who Haji Halima Mahama said, we know you are involved in Galamsey, have been reappointed. Are you fighting Galamsey? Or you are fooling all of us?
So what I think is at the core of this Galamsey issue, beyond and besides the fact, the fight, is livelihood.
That's right.
I did my national service at Dompim, Pepesa in the Western region. So I know how the young men engaged in Galamsey even before these machines came in. And it was in the light of this that the government launched the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program last year or thereabout. The question I want to ask is, how successful has that program been? Because they gathered as many, about 16,000 people, and said a lot of them were illegal miners, and they were going to give them alternative livelihoods. Because if you look at some of these vices or crimes that affect society around the world, they have solved them by legalizing them, by guiding them, and giving them alternative livelihood, programs.
William, I want to.
But that one has also.
William, I want to stop you there.
You see?
And say that when the government came, this government, in 2017, I remember that they said that we're going to do one district, one factory, one village, one dam, planting for food and jobs. And that they were going to stamp Galamsey outrightly and then plant more trees. So the young people who would be identified, because whenever there's Galamsey and it's stumped, you have people going back into the forest to cut trees. There's a connection.
Right.
The Galamseyers will tell you, as soon as the authorities come and they stop them, they go to cut trees. So the government said, look, we don't want people to cut trees. We don't want people to engage in Galamsey. We will plant trees in the event that some do not join the programs that we're bringing. And then we will do the reforestation, all of that. But we're going to do planting for food and jobs. Get food from there to feed the one district, one factory initiative. And then we're going to have one village, one dam to give irrigation to the farms that we're going to do. That was what the government said. They called it a triangle. I remember so well. Where is that triangle? And today, last year, William says we launched alternative livelihood. But this alternative livelihood has been repackaged like what we have, the Youth Start. You remember before Youth Start, there was Youth Bank.
Yeah.
You remember that? It's been repackaged. When we fail to actualize the things that we say we will do, then we repackage it and present it to the people as if it's something new.
It reminded me about Youth Start. Has it started?
I'm saying there was Youth Bank, right? Youth Bank with a K, then Youth Bank with a C, and then now we had Youth Start.
Youth Start.
And it's never starting.
Last August, they attempted to, initiate the process, and I didn't hear anything after that.
We took the whole of 2021 to say that we were planning for Youth Start. 2022, we said we had implemented it. Mind you, before Youth Start, there was John Kuma's outfit, NEIP, National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program.
That's the one.
That gave money to some people, and I always say that, look, we create these splinter modules so Helen can put up a plan and come to William as NEIP boss and collect money to say she's going to do entrepreneurship. and then bring it to me as YEA boss, the same concept, and collect money, and then take it to Phil and collect money in the name of You Start. One person has benefited from 3 different schemes because there is no proper structure to identify that Helen has already benefited from You Start. So NEIP and YEA, she can't benefit. Somebody else has to benefit. We don't have that system. Kasano does too much. We talk too much in this country. Too much. And when you advise the government, they don't take it.
Well, the point I've always made is that we're a developing country.
How long?
So when we have concepts and ideas, we need to let them grow. We need to develop them. We shouldn't be in a hurry to complete one program within 4 years or 8 years. When we say we are doing You Start, it shouldn't be an MPP program. It must be a national program that is also tailored to the needs of the people along the line going forward, so that it doesn't mean that we have to employ 100,000 cities, 100,000 people and pay them so little cities within a short time and say we have employed. The data will start playing out.
But William,
employed 100,000 people.
William,
if you can start with say 50,000, 20,000, then the following year we scale up.
William, you know that government uses that. And this is not just this government.
That's the point I'm making.
They use it for elections.
Exactly, that's the point.
And that goes to what William always says. They
that.
don't put people at the heart of
No.
data.
That's exactly the point I'm
They
making.
just trumpet the numbers.
We just
That's
want
all.
the data to go and compete on the political platform. So if we are doing NAPCO and we're going to start with 50 people, treat them well, make sure that they come out well, then the ensuing years or terms of the government, they add more people. Because now we have people doing cleaning your front page. So many of them, they haven't been paid.
980
we have
or so.
Kufuor police, they haven't been paid. We have
Youth in the forest.
You have the Napconians there
yes,
haven't
so
been paid.
we should build the country. I mean, it's not, you can't build the country in 8 years. So no politician should be in a hurry to do things that will entangle
William,
itself.
this advice, would they take it?
Well, we are here. We are not. You see, advice is or the analysis that we do is ultimately to also let the public know that these are some of the alternatives that the government must take. That is why we have the option to vote in and
you know, yesterday I spoke at Lancaster University, and I spoke with level 100, 200, 300, 400 students. And
that's the whole school.
Yes, and I told them something. I said, the citizens have become so timid that in demanding for accountability is considered disrespect. When you start speaking up and asking questions, because of, and yesterday you raised a question about culture.
Yeah.
Because of the way we are brought up, you think that you must not ask a big man questions, even when the big man is supposed to be your servant. We're talking about civic consciousness and awakenness. And I told them that, look, you need to speak up. The provost said, well, in this school, they speak up. I said, that's fine. But beyond the walls of this school, are they able to speak up? Are they able to ask questions? Are they able to ask the policeman why you are stopping me and delaying me if I have not committed a crime? I have not offended any traffic regulation. We don't do that. And we don't introduce that to our very young ones.
Yeah.
And so people are unable to ask questions because we all know that where we are heading as a country is in the wrong way. But everybody is quiet. It's just like all of us in a trotro. We know the driver is driving recklessly, but we are all quiet about it.
You can see the ditch ahead, but we're going.
And then the person who decides to speak